basic sport dynamic is all the same. You know, whether you're hitting a golf ball, hitting a baseball, shooting a gun or a bow and arrow, you're in a fight, basically the same thing in roping. Your sports dynamics are like this. You know, because what you got target here, power here, and you come back, and you're driving it on there. It's really what you're doing. But the other thing is you want your loop to be a little bit of an angle rather than flat. Because if you can look at this head, if you're looking at it from this direction, you don't see a whole lot of head in a loop. But if you get it like this, it changes the perspective. It also changes your catch percentage. So, and you're keeping your right angle down so that you're coming in here so that you have an opportunity to do this rather than trying to catch him in this smaller frame.
So as you're throwing it, dropping it down, you're bringing one end down first.
Well, what you do is you right tip down, keep that right tip down. See how the right tip is down, left tip is high. That way when you come around, it comes around him at an angle, picks up that horn. It's a little bit like a hula hoop too. When you hit that hula hoop on that one side, if you're holding it in your hand and you hit it here, it's going to swing. And that's kind of the same thing that you do here. And you can do it, you know, basically you can see, you know, work the same. You know, there's really nothing faster about it other than when you're chasing live cattle. You've got wind resistance because you're traveling 30, 35 miles an hour. So you're going to have that involved. So you want to learn to rope a little more aggressive so that you can gain your target. The other thing is when you're riding up on a horse or on your horse, because the cow has a head start, you're gaining momentum on it. So what'll happen is you're starting back here because the cow gets a legal head start. You know, so you're coming up here, so you better be roping quick. So when you get there, because if you don't rope when you get there, all of a sudden your horse is too close, and then you've got to change your angle or pick your horse and back him off. So you've got to get some adjustments there. So if you're just kind of swinging slow and not aggressive, you'll be at your point, your optimum point, but then all of a sudden, by the time you come back around, it's gone.
Yeah. So I've seen you guys do everything from like you kind of hold it for a while, just doing a couple quick swipes and you nail it.
Yeah.
Any difference there on how that?
Part of that is just teaching yourself, because what you want to do, from birth you learn how to eat. Okay? Right now, any of us, you can put blindfold on me and I won't miss. That's all muscle memory. So what you want to do is you want to create muscle memory. Okay? All this needs to be natural, but what you have to be able to do is you have to be able to adapt that muscle memory to the distance in case that cow's getting away. You need to be able to reach him. Okay, if the cow's really running fast, you know, or running slow, he takes off fast and all of a sudden he's running slow. All of a sudden your horse is up here before you're ready. You better be ready to drop your bomb rather than taking 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 swings.
Yeah.
So they're just, and we practice different distances, different things. You know, your rodeo runs, most of those guys are coming out like this, and they're dropping it on him before anybody gets any speed, but they've got a shorter barrier.
Yeah. So how early did you start?
Learning the whole. Maybe my grandfather started doing, but it really wasn't a competitive team roping thing. It was live catching cattle type of stuff. But with them, I was in the team roping a little bit and just started their dynamics out correctly. And usually what happens is everybody starts out, their buddy talks them into roping, and their buddy gets out there and they try to teach you how to rope. Okay, right foot forward. You know, they don't tell you how to hold your hands correctly. So you just get out there and throw it at them. They'll catch once in a while, but they never really develop a correct technique that works consistent. You know, you've got a lot of new ropers out there, the new techniques, you know, swing left, rodeo running, which for years it wasn't a problem because you would have one person that roped that way. So your odds were in your favor. Now you've got a lot of them that are doing it. So even though this person may eliminate yourself, if you got half the field that's doing that, your odds will change, not simply from the one person, but just because of the mass. And you've got different techniques for rodeo runs, because what they're doing is, you know, they're timed, and they're going left when they're coming out of the box. But they've only got one run, so they got to get it all done. But what we do is they average rope, which is the fastest time on your average of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 heads. So you've got to specifically do what works and catch consistently. Because if you miss one, you're out. So it's the average. So you've got to catch all of them. The object is to catch them. Slow down, make sure your fundamentals are correct, and make sure that everything's working so you catch them all. And that's pretty much the difference between the average rope and the rodeo rope.